Good morning, Henry and Jonah. Lots of discussion going on regarding audits of software and hardware for security and privacy. Do you have some key metrics you use, like frequency, something that indicates thoroughness, keywords to evaluate effectiveness of published audits? Are there specific organizations that conduct tech audits that you do or do not have high trust in? Let's let you start with that one.
For me, it's a lot of it is like, first of all, how willing the company is to like allow the auditors to inspect the source code, whether it's open source or if it's closed source, if they let them access the source code. I think that makes a big difference in like the thoroughness of the audit. It makes doing the audit a lot easier for the auditors if they have that kind of access. A lot of companies, like if they work on closed source products, they don't allow that kind of access, which just makes the entire thing harder. But beyond that, like as far as key metrics or specific organizations, that kind of stuff, that's not really something I look at too much. Like I would definitely want to make sure that the organization doing the audit is independent and they have done other audits of other companies in the past and they have generally respectable results. So there are companies like Tier 53, for example, that have done a lot of audits of privacy software and that kind of stuff, VPNs, and they seem to be generally trustworthy. So that's like an organization I would look out for. But it really could be any organization as long as it's like not being self-audited or something like that. But as far as everything else, I don't really look at that stuff. I kind of more look at the audit itself, the findings that they had, the solutions that the company being audited, whatever they brought forward and whether they fixed it adequately. And you really just have to look at it on a case by case basis and make your decision based on that. There isn't really like any common stuff that I would look out for because every product and every audit is going to be different and completely different in scope, for example. So you really have to look at like what actually was audited, what problems they found, how severe they were, and then what they did to fix them, and do that for every product.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of that. And I think the only other thing is one something to be careful with audits is a lot of audits are done as a snapshot, right? Like they're just done for one version of a service. And then a lot of services will just do one audit from 5 years ago and it hasn't been audited
Mm-hmm.
since, but they still claim to be audited. The reality is the software that you're using on your phone 5 years later might not even be anything remotely like what was audited 5 years ago. So just keep in mind that audits are just snapshots. And for me, actually, the biggest win of an audit is that a company audits cost a lot of money to do. And so it means this company is putting aside resources towards doing an audit to make sure that A, they're more secure and private, and they also want to verify to their community that they're trustworthy. I think it really puts their money where their mouth is. And because you can take that money and put it towards marketing, but they actually put it towards an audit. And that is in itself some marketing, but it's mostly like trying to improve the service and make sure people are safe using it. So I think it's a really good sign when anyone is audited, regardless of how, obviously you can't just do BS audits. We don't want people just putting together BS audits and just using it as marketing. But I think
Mm-hmm.
in a current state, most auditing companies seem pretty trustworthy. And as long as it's from a trustworthy company, it's almost always a plus just for general trustworthiness, to know that a service is trying to really respect someone else's opinions and also get third party feedback. There's a lot of services in the privacy community that refuse to accept third party feedback from others. And they
Yep.
anytime someone says something, they go, "No, you're wrong. Here's why you're wrong because I'm correct." And I actually think that's really bad. I
Yeah.
think that you're not going to be right 100% of the time. And so services that are willing to get that third party feedback and then choose what they want to accept and deny are doing it the right way. And the only thing I'll say is I also do not accept non public audits.
Oh
Those are
yeah.
not audited services like Skiff, who their entire existence before they got shut down said they were audited. They never published their audits publicly. So either they were bad audits and they didn't want to share them, or they never did them, but we'll never know because they never published them publicly. So audits have to be public to be effective.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are all good points. To add one more thing, kind of speaking to your first point about them being a snapshot, the other thing I would say about audits is that I really view them as more like a measure of a company's competency to do something, but it's not like a replacement for having to trust them. So, like a no log audit, for example, I would expect like a VPN to have implemented everything so that nothing is secretly being logged, like even unintentionally. Like it's hard to completely disable logs on some services because a lot of different things running on a computer can log stuff that's potentially personally identifiable. So like a no log audit at least shows that they properly disabled everything, nothing is secretly being collected somewhere, that kind of thing. But it doesn't stop them from turning around and turning on logs after the audit is over and like maliciously collecting that information. And it doesn't like stop a software developer from like adding some sort of malicious feature later that could get your personal information, even if there's no like vulnerabilities found in the software. So the audit is just like, it shows that the company is capable of making good software, or they're capable of configuring their stuff directly. But you also still have to do your due diligence, and you have to look at their privacy policies, and you have to choose companies that either you can trust because they don't have your data in the first place, whether it's through end-to-end encryption, or just choose companies that are generally trustworthy in other ways beyond just the audit itself.
Yeah, I feel like we don't hear much about audits, so hopefully that's useful for people because I don't think
Yeah.
people like know how to like take a look at audits and like what to think of them. So really good stuff. Thanks for watching this Techlore clip. This actually comes from the main Techlore channel where we talk about digital rights, privacy, security, and how to keep yourself safe and sane online. We'll see you over on the main channel, or feel free to check out some more clips.